Hello everyone, and welcome to Who Would Have Known. On today's episode, we're going to talk about ducks. Why ducks? Because ducks have some very unique qualities. For example, some duck species can reach 100 miles per hour while flying. Other ducks can fly as high as 21,000 feet, rivaling the altitude of commercial airlines, right? How do we know this? Because a jet plane over Nevada hit a mallard and it was flying at an altitude of 21,000 feet. That's really high, especially for a duck. That's in the air. As far as water, ducks also have some exceptional diving abilities, reaching depths of like 6 feet and being able to hold their breath for like 10 to 20 seconds. That's pretty good for a little duck. Ducks are very much like humans. They're very social creatures. They like to form large groups called paddlings. And in this large group, or this paddling, they'll share feeding grounds, they'll swim together, they'll engage in various vocalizations to communicate with each other. And different duck species, even within the same breed, can produce distinct vocalizations depending on their geographic region. So that's pretty cool. They can talk to each other all around the world. Ducks have some very unique feeding habits as well. Ducks have a second stomach, and we call this a gizzard. And what they do is they eat sand and small stones and pebbles to help grind up the food in the gizzard because they don't have teeth. Now let's talk about the eggs to the baby ducks, or hatchlings. The production of eggs is influenced by daylight. They lay more eggs when there's more daylight. So farmers use artificial lighting to maintain egg production year-round. Now ducklings, when they're born with their eyes open, covered in this downy feathers, and able to walk and swim shortly after hatching. Ducklings usually learn to fly by 2 months old. This is called precocial for those nerds like me out there, right? Precocial means that they can move around and feed themselves within hours after birth. Humans are artificial, which means we need someone to take care of us. So precocial Latin meaning is precocious, and atricial Latin meaning is to nourish. Learn something new today. Did you know that aging ducks, they often turn white, right? And they'll get these white patches and eventually become entirely white. And in rare cases, some of them do become albino as they get older. Fun fact, ducks' feet can't get cold. Duck feet have no nerves or blood vessels, meaning that their feet just don't feel the cold so they can walk around in the snow. Also, something really cool about ducks is they have 3 eyelids. So ducks have an array of impressive eye features. For example, they have excellent vision, and since their eyes are on the side of their heads, they have this field of vision of almost 340 degrees, right? And due to the shape of their eyes, they can see objects close and far away. How crazy is that? And yes, ducks see in color. Have you ever tried to sneak up on a duck? They are very hard to sneak up on. Why? Because ducks can keep one eye open while they sleep because they're able to sleep with half of their brain at a time. It's a technique called unihemispheric sleep, and they can control which side of their brain sleeps. While sleeping in a group, there are guard ducks that sleep in the outside of the group with one eye open. Very interesting. So how do ducks clean themselves? The way ducks clean themselves is called preening. It's like taking their beak and cleaning their feathers out like you would with a hairbrush. So preening helps ducks stay dry. It's how they groom themselves, and even though that technically every time they get in the water it's like taking a bath, preening removes, that's how they get all the dust and the dirt and parasites and bugs and stuff out of their feathers. So while they preen, they will spread waxy oil, which is waterproof, across their feathers. And where do they get that waxy oil? Well, they have a special gland located above the tail. So it'd be like at our tailbone. And it's called a uropygial gland, or preen gland, because the other word's hard to say. This gland produces a special oil for waterproofing their feathers. Like sometimes when you watch the videos of a duck diving into water and it looks like he's surrounded by this air bubble, well, that's that waxy oil keeping him waterproof. Now, for those who have kids, this next part is about duck reproduction. So graphic but true, viewer discretion is advised. Okay, full stop. So this goes out to you, Miranda, because you learned something new from Jacqueline and y'all thought of me to talk about duck pecker. So thank you for the subject content. Normally, a duck keeps its phallus inside out within a sac inside of its body. And when it's time to mate, the peter bursts out this fully erect 20 centimeters, which is a quarter of the animal's body length. So if you were a 6 foot tall man, it would be 2 foot long. That's pretty spectacular. What's even wilder is that the whole process takes just a third of a second, and that's it. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Some of you. Who would have known that duck dicks are an example of the strange things that happen when sexual conflict shapes the evolution of animals' bodies? right? So many ducks form bonds that last for the whole mating season. But rival males often violently force themselves onto females, so to gain the edge in these conflicts between the rival males, drakes, or male ducks, they have evolved these corkscrew penises, and they are lined with ridges and backward pointing spines, which allow them to deposit their sperm further into a female than their rivals. These extreme penises are more unusual when you consider that 97% of bird species don't have a penis whatsoever. Who would have known we would have been talking about duck phalluses? So if you learned something new and enjoyed this tidbit of information, please hit that like button. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.